long overdue review of the Rancilio Silvia V3. And we're going to do it a little bit different today. I'm going to zoom in on some of these features and then just talk about them. And then at the end, I'm going to give my official review score. Alright, so right here we have the control panel. And I think one of the coolest things about the control panel is its simplicity. It's just really self-explanatory, easy to use. You turn on your machine with this guy right here, and you turn on the ability to brew coffee with that guy right there. And then if you want to run water through it, you just press on this guy right here. And then water runs through it. I'm going to turn that off. The control panel is a win. Alright, so then we'll move on to the water well up top. But one of the things about the water well is that it gets really close to the countertop. And so if you're going to use this machine, you'll either want to keep it like right on the edge of your counter, or you'll have to scoot it out. That's what I do because I like a little space on my counter for it. So I will actually just scoot it out to get the water well out and refill it. Another route that you could go is just, using like one of these kettles to refill it, and you can pretty much get under the counter with that, but it's really not that big of an issue. The machine's not very heavy. You can just kind of scoot it. The other thing is the steam wand. This guy has a really amazing steam wand for a consumer machine for the price. The steam wand does a really good job. And of course, with everything, you got to perfect it, which I do not have perfected yet. I really want to get into some latte art, and we're going to talk about that in a future video. But the steam wand gets a thumbs up from me. I chose to have an auger pit installed, and I am really happy that I did. As you can see, it's keeping the boiler at 2 degrees of 216 right now, and I really have to say I wasn't too sure about this on the front end, but this is well worth the extra expense. I think it was like another $200 to have it pre-installed, and so the warranty is still good with it pre-installed, and it just fits really well with the machine right there. And so I chose to go with the naked portafilter. It doesn't matter, it's just a style thing, and I like to be able to see how my shots are pulling, if I have any caverns inside of there. It makes it a lot easier to see that, notice that when you're doing it with a bottomless portafilter. And so that's the reason that I chose to go with that. It was another $50 on top of it with the machine. Now the only drawback about this machine is this dipper well right here. It is so small. I don't use that at all when I'm cleaning the machine. I put a bowl underneath it to catch all of the water so that I don't really have to deal with that at all. But not really affecting the taste of the espresso, so not that big of a deal. Plus, this machine just looks good. Look at it. It's awesome looking. Looks good on the counter. So I chose to get it with the Rocky. And I like the Rocky. Some people have complained about it not being consistent for like more of a coarse grind. What I chose to do is just get another grinder for my another burr grinder for the brewing of coffee, and I only have this one set for espresso. And what's been working for me on the Rocky is a setting of like between 0 and 10, just depending on the coffee and the weather, and consistently like a 5 or a 7. Has really been the setting to have it on. There's just one, it's consistent for espresso. I really like it. The reason I chose to get another grinder to grind for regular brewed coffee is because it's really difficult to move this step grinder back and forth between coarse and espresso. It gets stuck. You have to grind coffee through it in between like every 20 levels. It wastes coffee. There's just so many different reasons. And for ease and just my sanity, I chose to get another grinder. And I would suggest that you do the same thing. I've talked to other people. They've had a lot of the same issues I've had with it. And when it's just left for espresso, it works great. I don't have any problems with it. I've had this dual setup for about 6 months now, and I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm going to give the Rancilio Silvia with the Rocky a 9.5 out of 10. Really, the only two things holding me back from giving it an overwhelmingly strong 10 is just the steps on the burr grinder and the tiny little well that the Rancilio has. In terms of making really good tasting coffee, I would give this setup a 10 out of 10. Super happy with it. It's fun to play around with. And everybody I have made coffee for on it has really, really liked it. So, I mean, that's really what matters. Is the coffee that I'm making on this tasting good, and is it tasting good consistently? And the answer to those two questions is yes and yes. As always, remember, Coffee Cup News is where